cops never ends well.
Stop! Get on the ground.
Here's why. A moment of truth for criminals when faced with the long arm of the law. Typically, many choose the sensible route and surrender to the police. They decide to give themselves up, realizing the jig is up. However, there's always that daring bunch who opt for the risky escape route, attempting to outrun the police. Spoiler alert, it seldom goes well for them. Today we've got 3 stories to share with you, where criminals thought they could make a getaway. Get ready for a roller coaster of events that proves sometimes the escape plan isn't as foolproof as it seems. Case 1. In May 2021, there's this 30-year-old guy named Josie. So he starts tailing a kid in Walmart. And then when he spots a chance, he goes and does something terrible. He attacks the child. I mean, it's shocking. But here's the twist. The brave kid quickly spills the beans to her mom. Now, her mom isn't one to back down, so she goes straight at Josie to give him a piece of her mind. Guess what? Josie, the guy who did the awful thing, bolts out of there like he's being chased by a pack of wild dogs. Fast forward 5 months, and the cops finally catch wind of Josie's whereabouts. Where? Surprise, at his regular job. They show up ready to grill him about the whole mess. As soon as Josie walks in, something's off. He looks uneasy, standing there with a stiff posture that hints at tension. His face is like a blank canvas, trying hard to stay neutral. But here's the kicker. When confronted with solid proof, watch how Josie reacts. He denies any involvement, but his body language spills the real story. When Josie sees a photo of himself at the crime scene, he does a good job of keeping a straight face, but things take a turn when the cop brings up his Subway purchase. Suddenly, there's a noticeable shift in his body language. He starts blinking a lot. Now, that could mean he's feeling stressed or maybe not being entirely truthful. Josie tries to act surprised when the officer mentions someone used his debit card at the store, but the cop isn't buying it for a second. Josie, after being caught, was declared guilty by the court and was charged with first-degree sexual assault of a 13-year-old girl and a misdemeanor charge for resisting against a law officer. Case 2. Not every person who breaks the law does it because there's solid proof against them. Some folks just end up making foolish choices. Take Jason Massey, for example. He's just cruising in his buddy's car when they get pulled over for going too fast. At first, everything seemed routine, with the driver explaining why they were speeding and handing over his license without a fuss, but little did they know things were about to take an unexpected turn. The scene gets a bit fishy when dispatch informs the on-site officer that the license plates don't match the car. Now, our cop has already caught a whiff of marijuana, making things even more interesting. The mismatched plates are a major red flag, prompting him to call for backup. As the reinforcements arrive, they huddle up and plan their approach. When they finally reach the vehicle, all eyes are on Massey, sitting as cool as a cucumber in the front passenger seat. The suspense is building as the officers gear up for whatever might unfold next. The driver, Massey, finds himself in a deja vu moment, once again facing a police officer. Massey's reaction is more defensive than a goalie in a soccer game. He quickly denies being the driver, a classic move that usually signals someone's got something to hide. The cop, playing the reassuring hero, tries to calm Massey down, telling him everything's cool and there's no need to be scared. But guess what? Massey's still looking like a cat caught in the rain. As the cop goes on searching the driver, he pops the big question to Massey. What's your name? And oh boy, Massey fumbles on this one. A real head-scratcher moment for him. Massey misspells his made-up name, and now he's making a break for it with the third person still chilling in the backseat of the car. What you might not catch in the video is that as Massey peels out, he gets zapped with a taser. Not the smoothest getaway, let me tell you. The car doesn't take him very far because in the heat of the chase, Massey ends up slamming into another vehicle at a gas station. Don't worry though, the driver of that car comes out without a scratch. But here's the kicker. Instead of dealing with the aftermath, Massey decides to ditch the car and take off on foot. Watch closely as he weaves through the bushes. It's going to be a crucial part of the story real soon. The police officer steps out of his car, pointing his gun at Massey. Massey decides to stop trying to run away when Nancy brings up his asthma. But here's the thing. This cop's reaction is not cool, like seriously unprofessional. Whenever Massey finds himself on the ground, it's hard not to notice the discomfort etched across his face. He seems genuinely pained, making no effort to escape. In a surprising turn, taser probes zip into Massey's arm as he speeds away in his car. The chaos unfolds, and an officer rushes to check on Massey's well-being, while another dives into his bag. What they uncover adds another layer to the story: marijuana and live ammunition. Massey decides it's time to spill the beans and tell the cops his actual name. One of the officers, probably curious, shoots Massey a question, wondering why on earth he bolted when everything seemed cool. It's like a little mystery unfolding. Why run when there's no storm, right? The plot thickens and we're all ears waiting to hear Massey's side of the story. He claims the reason is that he resides in Georgia instead of around here, but let me tell you, the real scoop lies with local dispatch. They've got the inside story on it all. In a recent search of the area, the police made a surprising discovery. While the driver only received some citations, things took a more serious turn for Massey. As he passed through the bushes on foot, a firearm was found hidden there. The female passenger, on the other hand, claimed she knew nothing about it and was released. However, Massey's situation worsened considerably. He admitted guilt to several charges, including fleeing from an officer, hit and run, carrying a concealed weapon, and bail jumping. Consequently, he was sentenced to 3.5 years in jail. Adding to that, he'll serve an additional 4 years for an armed robbery. Case 3. After Massey's silly blunder, you won't believe what happened next. We're talking about Anthony T. Gaines, a 30-year-old guy with a knack for trouble. Now, Massey might seem like a genius compared to this dude. Little does Gaines know that the officers are already onto him. Hold on to your seats, because what unfolds next is like something out of a wild movie, all caught on body cam. This encounter's about to get seriously strange. Gaines appears calm on the surface, but his super casual behavior is a dead giveaway that something's up. The cops around know there's a warrant for his arrest, and they decide it's time to make their move. Gaines finds himself in a tight spot as the other officer puts cuffs on him. Swiftly, the officers start searching him, and voila! They discover a suspicious-looking case in his pocket, possibly linked to a ring. Curiosity piqued, the second officer pops it open, revealing some seriously incriminating evidence. Gaines attempts to act clueless, but the truth is crystal clear. He's caught in a lie. Gaines does something risky by deciding to dash away even with handcuffs on. What happens next is like a wild roller coaster of craziness. The arrest we're talking about happened right after the aftermath of George Floyd's death and all the Black Lives Matter protests. Now get this. The officer in charge spilled the beans that he's seen this kind of thing before, implying these troublemakers might be trying to ride the wave of all the political tension. Gaines, the one getting caught, kept trying to pull off this little stunt for 30 minutes. But here's the kicker. Just when you thought it was all serious business, the arresting officer cracked a laugh at Gaines' expense. Now that he's dedicated to the act, things get pretty wild. He's all about calling for an ambulance and doing everything possible to make the cops look bad whenever he can. It's like he's on a mission to stir things up. The commitment to the act seems to have unleashed a whole new level of drama. Once more, attempting to make himself look like the innocent one, Gaines takes one last shot at convincing the police. Gaines decides to mess with the cops by pretending he stuck his noggin in the squad car door. But wait, there's more. He takes a break from the act just to holler at one of the officers. Then, out of the blue, he says he's got a pacemaker, throws in a quick fake fainting spell, and starts acting like the police are giving him the full bone-breaking treatment. The police catch him with a grin on his face. When they agree to call an ambulance, he warns them about a possible lawsuit and mentions having a history with one of the cops. As Gaines keeps causing a ruckus, two officers start digging through his stuff. So, one of the police officers is pretty sure that Gaines has a weapon, but when they check through his stuff, they can't find one anywhere. He asks for an ambulance, and guess what? It's finally here. But just as it pulls up, a family member steps in, determined to make him see reason. The cops are pretty sure that once Gaines' mom steps in, everything will get back on track. At the scene, the paramedics are having a tough time getting Gaines to cooperate. Even though Gaines is willing to share his list of complaints with the ambulance crew, convincing Gaines seems like a bit of a challenge. They're doing their best to make things smooth, but it's turning into quite a scene. In a surprising turn of events, Anthony Gaines found himself in serious trouble when he got arrested. Initially, he faced charges like a third-degree assault of a police officer, second-degree fleeing or evading police, resisting arrest, and shockingly, possession of meth. Fast forward to early 2022, Gaines was arrested once more, this time with even more severe allegations. The list included 2 counts of murder, robbery, burglary, tampering with evidence, and 4 counts of wanton endangerment. As we end today's video, we eagerly await your feedback and thoughts about the content we presented. Your opinion matters greatly to us, so don't hesitate to share it in the comments section below. If you enjoyed watching this video and found it valuable, we would greatly appreciate it if you could show your support by giving us a thumbs up. Also, consider subscribing to our channel to stay updated with our latest content. If you find the information we provide useful, don't forget to share this video with your friends and family so they can benefit from it too. Make sure to press the bell icon to receive notifications about our upcoming videos. Until then, stay tuned, take care, and thank you for being a part of our community.